Hi. So before we get into what this video actually is going to be, let me just say something real quick while I play some footage of the new Black Widow trailer because doesn't this movie look cool? I think so. And let me just say I messed up. So before we get into any of the Falcon and the Winter Soldier, I just wanted to say this. So basically what happened is I schedule videos ahead of time because otherwise I simply would not be able to upload on a weekly basis. If you guys have noticed since the inception of this channel, I have been uploading every week at least one video, at least usually 2 videos, and I've been able to keep that up for the entirety of this channel's existence. Now, that's been something that I've been very proud of, and I've been able to maintain just by making some videos ahead of time and also doing these weekly recaps and all that sort of stuff. And, well, schedules change, right? That's just the nature of life. You move videos around, all that sort of stuff. Anyways, you don't really care. So, that being said, a week ago, I scheduled my Infinity Saga ranking video. Hope you guys enjoyed that, by the way. Go check it out, link in the description. But it had originally been scheduled for a different date, but obviously things changed, so I moved it to its current upload date. At the same time, because I did that, I accidentally forgot to move the video that was scheduled to be coming out on that day to the next week, which happened to be the MCU hero tier list. So, unbeknownst to me, both videos accidentally uploaded at the same time. Now, I quickly realized this. Nobody really saw the video. I think it got like 1 view before I pulled it down, and so I pulled it down pretty immediately. I privated it, and then I rescheduled it for the following week, and it came out. Unfortunately, what I didn't realize is that once I made it public again at the right day and the right time, it still was time-stamped for the week before because that's technically when it was uploaded and made public. Long story short, nobody really saw it, and I don't blame any of you guys because it probably didn't pop up in your sub boxes or anything like that. So, yeah, I mean, this is sort of a shameless plug, and please go check out the video, but also I think a lot of you guys would enjoy the video anyway, so if you guys would like to check out the MCU hero tier list that I did, that was supposed to come out last week, it was republicized last week, but at any rate, there it is. I just wanted to let you guys know I made a mistake. It was supposed to come out last week. It says it came out 2 weeks ago. All that being said, go check it out, link in the description. Alright, now that you're all excited about Black Widow again, let's talk about The Falcon and the Winter Soldier episode 4. And I'm not going to beat around the bush. So again, spoiler alert, if you haven't seen the episode, we're going to be talking about all things episode 4, Falcon and the Winter Soldier. Here we go. I'm not going to beat around the bush. I think the beginning, before the title comes on screen, and the ending are brilliant. I think everything in the middle is fine. Should I just end the video there? No, where's the fun in that? Let's talk about it. So when we hear the Wakandan music and we start panning through the Wakandan landscape, I immediately was like, yep, this is a great place to be going. 6 years earlier, I'm on board. I was a little worried, like I mentioned in last episode. I don't think it would have been super appropriate to see Chadwick Boseman again. I think it would have just been a little jarring. It's been so relatively soon. It's been only about 6 months, so I just think that it was good we didn't get to see him in this episode. But I think that opening scene is actually the best intro to any of the episodes thus far. It was brilliantly done. Sebastian Stan's performance was absolutely fantastic. And then the next 35 minutes I think are okay. Now, the action, as always, is great, and that's something I think I'm taking for granted at this point because the action in the previous 3 episodes have been fantastic, and there usually is a pretty cool action set piece, and in this episode, it is the Dora Milaje fight against the heroes, the quote-unquote heroes, obviously, with John Walker and Battlestar. But to be quite honest with you, and again, like I've said over and over and over, I honestly, if it was a perfect world, would have preferred to see all 6 episodes at once, or cut together like a movie, because here's the thing. This really doesn't feel like a TV show, I've said that before, and this episode really felt like that to me, because did you guys notice they spend about 50 to 60% of the episode in that one random house, that one room? And that's fine, right? Because, you know, shows can do that. Unfortunately, after you've had the other 3 episodes be globe-trotting adventures, it feels almost a little claustrophobic to have these guys just talking in this one room, and then going into other dimly lit rooms and talking to other people. Now again, don't mistake me, because last episode I said I really do enjoy the scenes where characters talk to each other and get a perspective, right? Get a better idea of who they are, and their morals, and all that sort of stuff. And I think that that's what this episode was trying to do. Unfortunately, while I think some of the ideas and the concepts and even some of the writing in this episode was brilliant, and it really shed some light onto the gray area of morality that is being discussed in this show, I also think this episode had just the unfortunate, placement standing of just being the fourth episode leading into the third act. And a lot of it was just conversations kind of broken up by action scenes. And honestly, while the Dora Milaje action scene was very cool, it also felt kind of like a filler action scene. Like, I don't know. I get why the Dora Milaje are in this episode and in the show in general. Obviously, they mention at the beginning with Io that King T'Chaka was killed by Zemo. But really what that felt like in the end, in the grand scheme of things, was just an excuse for the showrunners and the writers to get Zemo out. That's it. And that's a little disappointing to me. Now, obviously, they do a lot of other narrative things with that, with John Walker, obviously, into self-confidence. I love the line where he says, they weren't even super soldiers. That's a great line. Again, it just felt a little bit filler to me. And again, I think that the ending action sequence leading up to that great ending with John Walker is also just sort of trying to get John Walker to that point of anger. Like, it was sort of just an excuse to sort of kill off Battlestar, as weird and as brutal as that sounds. I don't really think that the action scenes had much merit within themselves. They were very cool to look at, obviously. But I don't know. I enjoy watching them, right? And I enjoy watching the episodes when they come out, but they don't really pump the blood and get me really excited, if that makes sense. And also, a big focus in this episode was Carly Morgenthau, played by Erin Kellyman. Now, I mean no disrespect to anybody, ever, when I do film criticism, film review, TV review, all that sort of stuff. When I say this, I don't mean any disrespect when I say that I think Erin Kellyman's performance in this series has not been my favorite thus far. It's interesting because Marvel has a history of doing great performances with really established veteran actors that I understand that Erin Kellyman is not to the caliber, and that's not her fault, by the way, because who is to the caliber of Cate Blanchett, Kurt Russell, Hugo Weaving? Like, those are legendary actors. So Marvel gets these great actors to play these villain roles and writes them terrible characters, and that's frustrating. What I didn't realize was also frustrating, because Marvel really hasn't done this, is have a not so good performance, to be honest. I really don't like the character of Carly Morgenthau. I find her a little bit annoying and just a little bit self-righteous in a sense, and I get that that's part of the character, but it doesn't feel charismatic at the same time. And so what Marvel did in this instance was have a really, really well-written character with some really good dialogue, and a decent, okay, sometimes a little bit annoying performance, and that disappoints me a little bit, because I think the character is really well written. I think the conversation with her and Sam is a good one. And I also think some of it is even down the writing, because look, if you did not have that scene where she literally killed and blew up a building, I'm sorry, that's not helping you. Like, if that scene was changed just very, very slightly to where the other guy, like, you know, the companion in the car was the one who pulled the trigger, and she was like, no, wait, we should talk about this, and then he blows it up, and she kind of looks outside, tears in her eyes, and she's like, all right, we gotta do what we gotta do, and she drives. Like, that's a better scene in my eyes, because I feel like she needs to be the sympathetic character. No, she just pulled the trigger and blew up the building. Okay, fine. And the character just feels stilted and wooden, to be honest. I'm not a big fan. But obviously the ending of this episode is brilliant. I mean, yes, we all sort of saw it coming. The second that, you know, John Walker walks into the vials and he sees one, I'm like, yeah, of course he's taking it. Like, of course he's taking it. And honestly, that kind of leads me to believe he's going to die at the end of this series, because you cannot really have a super soldiered Cap just running around after this series is over. I don't think you can, so I think he's going to die at the end of the series, just like Battlestar did. But man, when that happened and he just kind of went off and just took off, people online have been comparing him to Homelander. I think that's a really apt comparison. And he just murders the Flag Smasher. And yeah, like the title of the episode says, the world is watching. It's a great ending to the episode. Again, it feels like it still is part of a larger story rather than a definitive sort of cliffhanger ending to the episode, but that's alright. And I really think, look, if you're gonna hate on John Walker, that's totally fine, but I like what they're doing with the character. I don't like the character, but I like what they're doing, because they're showing us what Steve Rogers would have been if he had just been a little bit farther off than his moral center. Right? Because Steve Rogers watched his best friend supposedly die, Bucky Barnes, and he kept going. He was the righteous Captain America. He knew what had to be done. John Walker sees his friend die, and he goes berserk. It's showing the little tiny instabilities and differences between the two characters that make Steve Rogers Captain America and John Walker's a fake Captain America, and I really like that. So again, as we head into the final two episodes, I'm enjoying the show. I'm not particularly looking forward to every single episode like I am with WandaVision, but I'm having fun. The action is cool. Some of the story it's okay. It feels a little bit drawn out at times, but what can I say? I'm having a good time. At the end of the day, I don't think this is going to be near the top 10 of my Marvel list, but it's a fun show. So what did you guys think of episode 4 of Falcon and the Winter Soldier? Let me know in the comments down below. If you want to check out some more videos, and again, please make sure to check out the MCU tier list. I think you guys would really enjoy it. I screwed up. My apologies. Then check out some more videos on the screen right now. Thanks for watching, and I'll see you in the next one.